You're listening to the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wyatt. You've heard about bass tournament fishing. Certainly you've seen some of it on TV. Did you know about high school bass tournament fishing? And did you know there are hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars in scholarships going to high schoolers so they can go to college, all because of the sport of bass fishing? We're going to learn about that today with Richard Parker from Bass Tactix here on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast.
This episode of the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast is brought to you by the Foundation for Mississippi Wildlife, Fisheries, Parks, and Marine.
You're listening to the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Wyatt. And today, fishing. A little bass fishing for you. And how about the high school variety with Richard Parker, Richard, you're a fisherman, you fish tournaments, but you're also involved with the Bass Tactix Trail, which involves high school fishing.
Correct.
And I just want to start by saying my life would have been totally different, I think, if fishing competitively had been an option for me in high school in Prattville, Alabama a million years ago. It might have been different.
I can assure you mine as well. And people talk about it and they was like, why did you start that? I'm like, well, it's something that I'd want to do. Mm-hmm. You know, growing up in the woods in the rural area of Greene County, Mississippi, and McLean, population 1,100, okay. We were always fishing. So when I joined the military and saw the need, as years passed, I had the opportunity to start it in the schools in Mississippi. So that's what I done.
So I want to go back and some of your background. So you mentioned growing up in Greene County. And you had
Greene, Perry County line. I was right out those government woods.
The government woods, right on
the line,
right on the county line. Mm-hmm. Well, that's out there.
It's out there.
You got hunting and fishing options out there growing up, I guess.
Since I was 4, they let me go by myself, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
a lot of memories.
What you mentioned a military career. What was that path? Maybe growing up, and what led to that for you?
Well, my dad was in World War II. He was in the Air Force. Then 3 more brothers in the Army. And so it's something that when I was probably about a sophomore in high school, I decided I want to do that. And, you know, the military pays free education. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go to college. So I wanted to become an officer. So I did all those things. I've been in now for 39 years.
Wow.
Long time. Since 86.
Since 86. Yeah, 40 years is a long time to do anything, isn't it?
I promise. I guarantee you. So.
Well, in a military career like yours, mm-hmm. how does that mesh with finding time to enjoy the outdoors and to fish and even do it competitively?
Well, you know, the Lord's really blessed me in that aspect. I was able to work full-time at Camp Shelby basically for over 20 years. And to become the family readiness officer for the families during wartime and peace, I was able to see a need where everybody can fish. You know, we've had kids with no legs, messed up arms, but everybody could fish. And everybody that I spoke with, like, we need to go fishing, we need to go fishing. So I was like, okay, let's just start a fishing program. So I got with Ranger boats. And I started a program called Troop Salute Fishing back in like 2005, 2006. Okay. So we started that with Troop Salute Fishing with Ranger boats, and it just carried on from there all the way to 15. That's when I incorporated the Bass Tactix youth and high school fishing.
Okay, so about the early 2000s, Troop Salute Fishing.
Yep.
And about 10 years into that, then Bass Tactix, came along,
That's right.
Which included high school. Where'd that idea come from to move over? And now it's a trail that involves high school competitive fishing.
A friend of mine, Mr. Jay Ladner from the Mississippi Gulf Coast, he was the president of the Mississippi Bassmaster Bass Nation, right? Uh-huh. And so I was the youth director, and he said, "Hey, we're going to start a youth program in Mississippi." So that's what we done. We started it, and it just went on from there. Then I incorporated Bass Tactix. I started Bass Tactix in 2015. And then first tournament was here on Ross Barnett. We had 96 kids, And now through Mississippi, Alabama, up toward Tennessee, Louisiana, downward to Florida, we got several hundreds of kids.
Wow.
So, and then one good unique thing about the Bass Tactix program is that adults get to fish against other adults at the same time. And we do, Bass Tactix has a national championship. And last year alone, just last year, we're not going to count other years, but just last year alone, we gave out over $5 million in cash prize and scholarship opportunities.
Good grief.
We have kids fishing for colleges, going to school, getting a college degree, and fishing for the colleges after they went through our program. We have some kids that fish with us from Blue Mountain here in Mississippi.
Yeah.
They do really well. Blue Mountain's got a really good
Blue
leader.
Mountain College.
Right, Blue Mountain College up above Tupelo.
Yeah.
They have a great coach there. He does a great job with them. We have some kids that fish with us from Montevallo University in Alabama, the only school to win 4 straight national college bass fishing championships. Some kids that fish with Kentucky Christian University on their fishing team, top 25 college in the nation out of 300 colleges plus nationwide. And so we're trying to get a team started also with River University down in Florida. We're working on that. We work with LSU Shreveport and Mr. Thompson over there. But some really great people running these programs in the colleges and the high school all together. So Mr. Herring, he does the Bass Nation side, and I do the Bass Tactix side. We work together, all to benefit the kids. So it's really great to be see people to be able to work together for the better of the kids.
Sure. Both my mother and dad graduated from Montevallo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
there you go.
My mother got a degree in education. She was a school teacher for 40 years and retired. My dad played baseball there and then became a coach, and then he went into the ministry. So I know where Montevallo is. And I was thinking, okay, so if you're a kid in college at Montevallo, you're around some water.
Absolutely.
The Coosa River and Lay Lake and Lake Mitchell down not too far south of there.
Right. Yeah, we got Shane. He does a great job in North Alabama. Then we got Daniel in the South Alabama Delta Division.
Okay.
They do great jobs for these kids and families as well.
And you mentioned
Bass Tactix.
For Bass Tactix. And you mentioned Blue Mountain. Same thing for them in North Mississippi. I mean, I'm thinking
absolutely.
They've got great water all around.
Absolutely. You got Pickwick, you got Grenada,
Bay Springs.
You got Bay Springs, you got Enid, Sardis. I mean, a lot of great lakes up there with good fishing. Yeah,
you know, and it's funny to think too of, you know, I guess just like any college age student or high school student, fishing is the kind of thing where you also have to, you got to study, you got to go to class, make sure we concentrate and not be staring out the window thinking about that fishing trip.
Yes.
That would have been hard for me.
and I'm sure it is. We have some of these kids, and that's why we kind of require them to have passing grades. And it does your heart good. Like one parent said, from this area up in the Jackson area, Madison, I believe the kid's from, said that, you know, this kid was not with the best grades in the world, but we told him he could start fishing, but he needed to have at least C's. And they said, it's amazing what fishing does. He had all A's and B's. So he went from C's and D's to all A's and B's. She said, fishing is amazing.
That's a pretty good success story.
So, I mean, just to see where it will take a kid and give kids opportunities that they, you know, a lot of families can't afford college nowadays.
Sure.
You know, it's a lot of money. But these colleges step up and support us, and you know, we just turn around and give right back to the kids and the families. I tell them all the time, guys, colleges, if you go to somewhere like Montevallo or somewhere, you're looking from $45,000 to $90,000 for a 4-year degree. And if you can get a $50,000 scholarship, I said, and I was actually speaking at Petal High School, right, a couple of weeks ago, and talking to those kids there, and they have a great team there. Got a military guy, Mr. Tolis, that leads that team. They got school team of the year this year in Mississippi for high school fishing. So amazing group there. But I said, okay, guys, I'll tell you what. And I asked the teacher, I said, how old are you? She said, 30 some odd years old. And she said, and I'm still paying for my college education. And I said, see what this means to your family? Your mom and dad don't have to come up and pay $70,000 for a college education. And you don't have to continue to pay it when you're 30 years, not 30, but probably 20 years after you get out, you're still paying for college.
Yeah.
So, and we give these college scholarship opportunities to kids that they don't have to win. Like at our championship back in June, we held it on the Black Warrior River. I'm sure you know where that's at.
Sure.
And every kid there, every single kid participating got a $54,000 scholarship opportunity.
At the championship. Every kid there.
Every kid there, $4.8 million.
That's just, those numbers, it's hard to fathom, really.
Yes.
And I'm a fan. I'm like a weekend hack in golf. I call myself a fisherman, but I love it. Okay. But I think there are lots of people in the outdoor world who we're fishermen, we're hunters that have no idea that kind of money is going into the sport of bass fishing at the high school and college level.
Right. Now, and I will say Bass Tactix, we're probably the ones that are going to give you that. There's other opportunities out there. I'm not saying that, but you're not going to get a $54,000 each at a championship nowhere, I don't think, but Bass Tactix. So, and one thing about Bass Tactix is we do not require school. If you got a son or daughter that goes to Madison and they got a friend that goes to school in Morgan City, Louisiana, and they want to fish together, they can fish together.
Okay.
They ain't got to be from the same school, same county, same state, nothing like that.
So it's
they
not
can
like
team up.
So it's not like Tupelo versus Clinton High School, but it could be kids from those schools they're teaming up,
right? Whether they are homeschool, private school, no school required. And for example, there's teams that are all a community team because all they've done is say, hey, we're from this county. Let's just make a community team. And then they can compete better for the championship like Petal won the state championship in that division. So, we got people like Adams County Christian School.
Okay.
Last year, they were the #1 school, little, private school.
Yeah.
But they got some dang good anglers up there.
Sure.
And this is kindergarten through 12th grade. So you got a sibling that's 6 years old and you got the other sibling that's 15. They can fish together as a team or get them a partner. It doesn't matter.
That's really
cool. We have a kid that he graduated from fishing at Mississippi State. He got his CPA. He fished with a kid from Oak Grove.
Okay.
They just went together. He went to school at McGee, and his friend from Oak Grove, they teamed up, made a great team, went to college and fished.
So like the team from Petal, for example.
The school team.
Yeah, the school team from Petal.
Right. They got like close to 20 kids.
Okay, so there's 20 that are all competing, and I guess is it 2 per boat?
Two per boat with an adult.
And the adult operates the boat, drives,
correct.
And that sort of thing?
Right. Yeah. The kids can't operate the boat except on and off the trailer or an emergency.
Okay.
And then the adult has to operate the boat otherwise.
The adult in that boat fishes? Or
the adult can't, and they do have the option to fish against the other coaches. Sometimes we have anywhere from 35 to 60 adults fishing against each other.
Okay.
And they pay a very small entry fee, but we normally guarantee like $500 for them for the winter, and like $1,000 up to $2,000 for the winners, up to $5,000 for the high school. No, yeah. Wouldn't you like to leave school on a Friday? Like one kid said, they go to George County. We were talking about George County a while ago.
Yeah.
This is a second and a fourth grader. They beat all the high school.
Did they really?
Yeah, they won like $1,100. A second and a fourth grader, right?
That is great.
Fishing off the Back Bay in Biloxi for bass. And we interviewed them. And that, actually, Mississippi Outdoors was filming that event. And we interviewed the little old second grader. And he said, we asked him, what are you going to do when you go back to school on Monday? He said, I'm going to tell them they're not going to get that playing football on Friday night. He said, and then I'm going to show them my $100 bills. So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? These
That's
kids
great.
are really get into it. And these kids are serious, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to congratulate, we had the #1 high school female fishing team in the nation.
Really? Where are they from?
They were from D'Iberville, Mississippi. They won over $320,000
You're
in
kidding
cash
me.
prize and scholarships.
In 1 year?
In one
season?
in their 2 years of fishing.
So 2 years of
In
fishing.
2 years.
How many events per year for a team like that?
We altogether they have an opportunity like last season. This season just kicks off, and we have about the same number of events, but they will have an opportunity to go fish the. I think there's 15 different events.
Okay, 15 events.
Now, some of them we try not to overlap them in different states, but it's only 4 weekends in a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes 5, right? But for the most part, there's only 4 Saturdays. And sometimes we do fish on Sunday afternoon to kind of give some extra qualifiers for like 4 or 5 hours. And but mostly it's on Saturday, and then championships are either on Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And so it gives them a great opportunity.
The bodies of water that, let's say, a kid from a school in Mississippi, the travel and like how big of a geographic region are they traveling to fish as a part of Bass Tactix?
Some of them will travel hundreds of miles.
Okay.
And some of them like to fish local. Like they live in Madison, they live in Florence, they live in Brandon, they only want to fish Barnett, or maybe Lake Washington,
Okay.
you know, off the Mississippi River, or Lake Ferguson. And then you got people that will drive from Mobile, Alabama, all the way to Greenville, Mississippi. Or they will drive all the way to Iuka, Mississippi, you know, 5-6 hours, because the championships are normally not in Mississippi, the big nationals.
Okay.
So they're going to drive 7, 8, 9, 10 hours one way anyways.
Yeah.
So I'd say about 70% of them kind of are not limited on how far they go.
Yeah.
They've driven all the way to Wisconsin before. So
Wow.
yeah,
Pulling
like
the
12,
boat,
13, 14 hours. You got to make sure the axles are greased really well. Stop on the way and grease them some more.
Yeah, sure.
So,
It's really interesting, Richard, because you know, I just think I get the sense that it's probably a competitive sport and world that a lot of people aren't aware of, honestly.
absolutely.
You know, and I've like a lot of folks, you turn on the TV every now and then, you see the college stuff on TV, you have some schools competing against each other, but the idea of, you know, 2 high school girls from D'Iberville over a 2-year season making $300,000 together
Cash
in high
prize
school,
scholarship opportunities. That's correct.
cash and scholarship. It's just, it really is kind of unheard of. What sense of satisfaction do you get out of it being a part of it?
Well, I don't have kids, right? So my passion is my love language, some people may call it, you know, God's word is, you know, I like to give back to people. You know what I'm saying? A servant's heart kind of deal. So my thing is family struggle. Kids need an opportunity, because when I was coming up, we were not so-called poor, but we were not rich. So my mom and dad always instilled in us is that, look, be respectful, help others. You know, so in my heart, I've always wanted to make sure that I could be the best I could be to help everybody. We struggle sometimes, that's no doubt, right? We make mistakes. But overall, that was my passion is, okay, that's something I would like to have done. And it's something I still do. I get to fish. You know, I spent the last several weeks fishing on the road in Louisiana and Texas and wherever, you know, fishing these Major League Fishing, BFLs, regionals and championships and everything else. And it's fun. You don't do it because you think you're going to win every time. You go to win, but bass will get you to thinking different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't speak English. They don't listen to us at all. No matter how many times you tell them to bite, they're not biting, man. You know,
Right.
So it's a humbling sport. But my thing is that I want to be able to see these kids succeed in life, at least have the opportunity to succeed. And is there some benefit from me doing it? Absolutely there is. You know, do I think I would be on pro staff with Bass Pro if it was just Richard Parker? Maybe, maybe not. But since I have this nice big youth fishing program that's going to sell a lot more fishing tackle, yeah, they look at me a little different, right? So I'm not going to give that credit out there. I'm going to give it where it's due. So yeah, I benefit from it some, but my passion is to see kids and families not suffering to a kid's education.
Yeah.
You know, the ability for them to go, like, there's kids out there, I have no doubt in my mind, their family cannot afford to send them to college, but yet, you know, with these scholarships, they can do that.
They are able to do it.
That's right.
How long have you been fishing tournaments like competitively?
One of my older brothers, we started our first one. We fished an event put out by, which everybody knows, Mr. Paul Elias.
Yeah.
In Laurel, Mississippi, a little event he puts on used to do it every year up on Lake Bogahoma and Laurel. And I think I was 15 or 16, and my brother had a bass boat, so we went and fished our first tournament. And it just went from there, man. So
caught the bug.
I would say so. About 41 years now, I've been fishing, you know, tournaments, and so it's great. I mean, I don't regret any of it.
What's the best tournament fishing experience you ever had as an angler?
I would say there's probably two. One here at Ross Barnett, and the other one at Lake Gunnersville in Alabama.
Okay.
I would say the one in Alabama on Gunnersville, it's bad when a tournament angler will say, "Oh my goodness, not another bite." And that's what I was doing, man. My sides was bruised up. My arms was bruised up on the inside from setting the hook. I set the hook so many times in those 4 or 5 days, man. 6 days, I was like, not another 3-pounder.
Yeah, that didn't happen often.
No, it ain't happened since. It's not happened since. So it was quite amazing experience.
What about the one at Barnett?
The one at Barnett, it was just a great day. We actually won the event. We sat in a creek up the river in a little old small creek channel, fishing a Fisheries of Men series divisional qualifier for the championship. And we sat in one little creek bed pretty much all day. And I mean, it was like not every cast, but like every third or fourth cast. And we had nearly a 5-pound average.
Wow.
And that's pretty good on Barnett.
Yeah.
You know, so 4-ish pound average.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me take that back. So it was a pretty amazing day, and we quit at 1:30.
Really?
We were back at the boat ramp by 1:30. We left fish biting.
And so 1:30 and weigh-in was what, 3?
3.
Yeah.
And so we came on back, dropped the talons down, and sat at the boat ramp, ate lunch, and waited on weigh-in. And we won the tournament. I said, if we don't win it with this, we just ain't going to win it.
Yeah.
And so we did, and we won the tournament. And I've had some great tournaments on Barnett. It's just that was one of those very memorable moments that you just sitting in one place at Barnett, catching that quality, you know, and not counting the ones we had lost, but it was pretty good. Pretty good day.
Yeah. Understatement. Pretty good. That was really good. I had myself 20 some odd years ago, one tournament experience at Ross Barnett, and it was a great experience. I finished 10th. I think it was maybe, I don't remember the trail, but I finished 10th, right? And this was what I remember. I was so excited to get that check. It was not huge, but it was a check, you know, a few $100s, whatever it was. I was finished 10th. Yes. Loaded the boat. I get on the trace. I'm driving back to Tupelo, and I started doing the math in my head. I was thinking, okay, I bought this much gas to get down here, put gas in the boat, the food. I did them, and it dawned on me, I just barely broke even.
You're right. That's why I was saying a while ago, you do it because you like it.
That's it.
You know, someone asked the other day, you know, about that. And I was like, look, I don't drink. I don't do any of those things. I like having fun. And the money that I can win back is a plus. Other than that, we're just having fun and enjoying nature and being out and fellowshipping with people.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of good people in the outdoor industry.
Yes, there are.
A lot of good people, hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, you name it, they're all pretty good people. So just to get out and meet people on the bank that are camping, or see someone walking down the creek when you're fishing, they're hunting, and their little kid says, look what I killed, I got a squirrel today or whatever. So, and seeing nature in general.
Yeah.
The gators and the deer, and how deer just swim out there and just look at you like, who are you? You're in my territory today.
Yeah.
So those type of things. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Tournament fishing is so much fun. So as it relates to younger kids, high school kids, you mentioned a tournament where a second and a fourth grader, that's so neat to think about. You said it will humble you. Do you think it's similar maybe to a sport like, say, golf, for instance, in that the mental part, the mental training that a younger person has to go through in order to participate in a sport and have any success, the way to kind of handle your own thoughts and handle things mentally is a little bit like golf. It's unlike, say, football. For me, my experience was in football. The madder I'd get, the better I'd play.
Right.
Well, it's right the opposite in fishing, isn't it?
That's correct. You get mad, you might well go to the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell kids and I tell family members and people in general, look, this is a mentally and a physically challenging sport. Mm-hmm. I said, if you don't believe it, go out there, money's on the line, and try to fish against some of these 10-year-olds. They'll wear you out. They'll teach you a lesson about fishing because they have no worries. They ain't got to make a paycheck. They're just out there fishing. And to put a game plan together, you just don't say, hey, we're going fishing. These guys have a strategy. They put a game plan together, mentally figure out what they're going to throw, when they're going to throw it.
Yeah.
The weather warms up. Okay, we got to change baits. Then physically, it's hard to compete in 90-degree weather if you're not physically fit in that boat. Because, you can cast 800 to 1,200 times a day in a tournament, just one person. And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of muscles. It takes mentally, it puts a strain on you, your whole body. And I agree with you there. It's a tough, and these kids will tell you now, they'll say, hey, we mentally prepared ourselves and it paid off.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Yes. They know. They've watched enough videos. They've figured that out. So,
sure.
It's pretty good.
If someone is listening and they either are a young person, to 10, 12, 14 years old, or maybe they're a parent who has a youngin' who they know might be interested, and they go to a school in Mississippi and the light bulb comes on, they think, okay, I want to look into this. Mm-hmm. What steps do they need to take to begin the process of maybe becoming someone who competes on the youth portion of Bass Tactix?
Yeah. They can go to our website. If they just Google Bass Tactix Outdoors, youth fishing, it's going to pop up. And it may pop up Troop Salute Fishing. Sometimes it does Bass Tactix, Troop Salute Fishing, one or the other. Click on there. Or you can always send me a message at 601-307-8492. But get on there. And again, we don't require any school. Get on there and just click on membership. Fill out the membership form. Everything's online. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to do that first, call me. And, I can explain things to them. And then we can go from there. They can always go. We got like Riptide Outdoors in Madison, Mississippi. They got all our information there.
Okay.
They're good about putting out information. So if they live in that area, they can go by there and get firsthand experience and information. But if they just go to our website, Bass Tactix Outdoors, and or like I say, call me, text me. We can make that happen. It's really easy, really simple, no school required.
What about boat and equipment? Is there a requirement? Is it a certain size boat you must have? Those kinds of things?
15 feet or longer. It doesn't matter if it has an outboard motor or not. It just has to be liability insurance of $200,000 or more, which is normally about $10 a month. Mm-hmm. It's very reasonable. And then you have to have a live well. of some kind. Some people have an ice chest with a bubbler in it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter, as long as it'll keep fish alive. And you have to have a kill switch if the motor's running. And, of course, all the other safety gear that Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries and Parks requires for you to have on a boat. Okay. And that's why I tell everybody, read the rules and regulations for boating, and then add to that, because your life is worth more. Keep your life jacket on. Mm-hmm. Wear it when you need to. Wear it when you don't have to sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so that's the encouragement we always give them.
Every tournament is a 5-fish limit?
Every tournament is a 5-fish limit. 3 for the adult, and 5 for the kids.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And if there are fish that aren't alive, are there penalties for that sort of thing?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It depends on what event it is.
Okay.
Some events, they just want fish out of the lakes and stuff like that. So we really don't care if they're dead or alive. They want them out. We're going to call some because we have different events. Uh-huh. And so we just bring them. You know, we have one event where the guy over the lake said, "Hey, don't throw nothing back if it's a bass." You know, so we kept everything and just waited all. But normally it's 3 or 5. And that particular event was an adult event. But we encourage them to keep them alive, and so we can release them back into the lake. And we have some events where we're on multiple bodies of water a day, so we split them up. But then we separate the bass in the tanks and take them back to their appropriate lake they come from. So,
what do you think is the future of that trail, Bass Tactix, especially the one for kids? What do you think that it could look like in 5-10 years from now?
Well, 5 years from now, I don't know that I'll be the director, but somebody will be. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because I am planning on stepping down in the near future. You know, I got other priorities I need to take care of and do, and so. But we have people that will be taking over. That's very good for the program. It will be, I would say, instead of the 4 and 5 states that we are now in with the kids, we will be in, I would say, at least 8 or 10. I mean, we've been asked to come to California and Texas and Arkansas and those other states, but it takes money.
Yeah, sure.
And and we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So if there's any sponsors out there, or people in general, or companies that want to help support such a program, and know that your money goes back to the kids and not in pockets of people that run it, because we do not do that. And then we welcome those as well, because that's what it takes to continue to do what we do.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's such a neat concept. And again, the whole time you were talking, you know, I have these visions that pop up of myself in high school. And, you know, I went the football route, baseball route. It might have been different if I'd known I could be on a bass
fishing team. Absolutely. I'm with you, man. I mean, it was absolutely would be been a blast.
Yeah.
And all we're going to do is just, like you say, image what it would have been like. But
sure.
Kids nowadays, it's a great opportunity. And it's really paid off in the fishing world, because now we're having these high school kids beating these adult kids. Mm-hmm. I mean, the adults, the high school kids beating the adults, and in these national events, not just local, but national, winning boats and those type of things.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
It is amazing. The whole thing's amazing. It's a really neat concept. And I just appreciate you, Richard, for coming and filling us in and being on the show and giving us a little insight.
Well, we appreciate you guys having us on and working with us. Again, the Mississippi Outdoors, we've been on there several times, and the as you can see right here, our Redneck Adventures Outdoor TV, we're on there a lot, and so we appreciate all the support that you guys give us.
Well, when you walked in with Scooter, I knew you were okay.
Oh, Scooter, yeah. He's a great guy. I
sure
appreciate him. He's done a great job helping us promote the kids and get the program up and going. Because I'm going to tell you, when it aired the first time, it tripled. Mm. I mean, the numbers really went up. Yeah. And
that's great.
It's done nothing but grow since.
That's great. Thank you, Richard.
We appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Thanks.
He is Richard Parker with Bass Tactix here on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast. We thank you all for listening, and we'll see you outdoors.